Manor has a lot of power fantasies, a lot, and we're always reading them. But every time I find one that's not in the genre or with the sort of same base premise, I get too shocked for my own good. Cause let's see, you have a main character in a world full of gifted people, but somehow he got shafted, so he just has to do the little he can to get by. Then one day something happens and he goes into a secret place, and after a trial he passes and becomes the strongest. Does that sound familiar? Yes, cause it's... I was scrolling trying to find Manor on the legal website one day and I got distracted by Gwen. But my friend showed me this panel from Talon Swallowing Magician and I decided, yeah, let's read another one, and it was fucking hype. So, allow me to introduce you to Elric Melvinger, a very normal Manor protagonist who lives a normal life like you and I, with just a few differences here and there. Like for one, he lives in a fantasy world and has the ability to detect and understand mana better than everyone else, and he's also a noble from the Melvinger family. A noble? Okay, so probably not like you and I, cause I forgot a few details. So here's a quick rundown. The humans live on a massive continent called the Empire, in which there are 4 forces that together dominate everything. They're not all that relevant, so let's cut to the 4th family. For over 1,000 years, there's been a magic tower that has led the world of magic, and the family that oversees and nurtures that magic tower is the Melvinger family. Or at least, they used to be. In the world of magic and towers, demons and demon kings must exist, right? And over 30 years ago, when the war with the demons broke out and the Melvinger family took over as the ones who dominate the world of magic, Elric's granddad was the hero who saved them and managed to win the war. But barely. They basically sacrificed themselves so humanity can live on. But when we get to meet Elric, he's an 80-year-old whose dad has suffered from the war, and his mom had met at early end, but at least he had his sister and the rest of the vassals.
Sure about that?
They abandoned them as soon as they had the chance. Now, with just his sister at his side, Elric vows to become a great magician that will restore his family status. But there's just one problem. He can detect and understand mana, yeah, but he can't use it. The grandson of the legendary hero is a dud, and he just becomes a laughingstock. But one day his friend and the only vassal that actually stayed by his side, Sean, tells him about a dragon expedition that he thinks he should go on. Elric decides to join and finds a way to get some artifacts from the pig, and he's able to successfully lead the team into an area where they believe the dragon resides, but once they get there, it's empty. But hold on, he just asks Sean to blast a hole in the area and it reveals a cave. The Dragon's Cave. But to be able to make any headway and not die, Elric had to solve a few puzzles which I wish we understood, but even after he saved those people, they were still hired by the pig to get rid of him. So they tried to kill him, but this would be a short story if they succeeded. So the skeleton of the dragon in the cave came to life and just started blasting them all away. Now Elric figures out a way to leave the cave and that he can predict how the enemies are going to attack. But something doesn't sit right with him, so he ends up staying behind in the cave alone. The madman without magic decides to fight an army of skeletal knights and a skeleton dragon with just 2 artifacts and a whole bunch of faith in his author. He found a lance that represents a life or death key to the trials that he was being tested with, and in that moment he meets someone. You'll never guess this. It was Mephisto. Well, Mephistopheles, the demon king who was sealed with the dragon. Turns out it wasn't the dragon's test, but the demon king's trap. Mephisto saw the Melvinger body as a strong vessel he could take over, but he underestimated the hatred that Elric had. During this inner battle for Elric's body, another entity entered. This was a messenger from a clan that existed long ago that battled the demon god. A messenger from the Melvinger family. Oh boy. The goal of that clan was to eradicate all demons, but they don't truly go away, so the clan members must continue to eat them over and over again. This kind of reminds me of Sung Jin-woo's predicament. He literally started off as the weakest hunter in the world until one day, as fate would have it, he became a player, rigged the system, and went on to become an absolute living menace. Well, not just Sung, literally almost every Manor protagonist in the power fantasy realm. And it's a bit different though in a sense, because Elric had a magic disease, but even outside of that, he could perceive magic better than anyone else could perceive it. And he was more versed in the theory of magic than most esteemed professors of the School of Nobility. So he wasn't just a bum who got insanely lucky. Jin-woo literally had nothing going for him before he became a player. But even so, it does follow the trend of having the MC be an absolute genius. However, I like how there seems to be a sense of progression with the story, and even though he's OP, he has to kind of work for what he's achieved. I love the characters we get introduced to, especially Sean and his dynamic with Elric, but it kind of sucks that the story went on hiatus when his sister got introduced because she's kind of hot, she's strong, she's very strong. And honestly, this manga is just 50 chapters so far, so you can knock it out in a day or two if you enjoy the first few chapters, and after a while, the art gets insanely good like most manga. So let me know if you've read it and what you think about it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.